What's going on, y'all? Check this out. This sushi bento lunch special out in Sakuragicho in Yokohama, it was 1,400 yen. Right in the hustle and bustle of all the touristy stuff. Super delicious. Anyhow, let's go ahead and check out some games. Here we go, Yokohama Station, Surugaya. It's been a minute since I've been out this way. I was out in Yokohama for a couple days, and since I was in the area, you know how it goes. Let's hit up the Surugaya. Here we got some PlayStation 4s, and it feels kind of good to be back from my vacation. You know, after being there for quite a bit of time, it kind of gets I don't want to say it gets to be a drag, but you know, you kind of want to get back into the daily grind, you know. Anyhow, what do we got here? This is the display case, the showcase, and we got all sorts of new hardware with the big bad boy here coming in at 97,800 yen. This is the Sony PlayStation, and this is what, the 30th anniversary edition, of course, PlayStation 5. And look how thick that thing is. And I'm assuming it's because it includes like the face plates, or the plates, you know, so you could attach the CD-ROM drive. I'm not really familiar with it, but that thing is pretty thick. Anyhow, let's make our way in proper. And they did change things around before, you know, right here in this little section that was the game section, but they kind of moved stuff. But we're going to continue here with the showcase. 20,600 here for the boxed AV Famicom. And then what do we have? The Cyber Gadget or Cyber Freak clone console there. And there was a laser active game in the back. We got the Sakura Wars pocket thingy for 6,500. And then what is that? The 3DS card case for 900. We got a Super Game Boy 2. Unfortunately, I can't see the price, but one of them's coming in at 9,600. You can still find those for, you know, like 4,000 yen, possibly lower. We got a Game Boy player, Orange Spice, for 11,000 next to some Mario Artist game for the 64 disc drive. And it looks like it includes the mouse. 41,800 yen for that. And 7,600 just for the standard Game Boy player there. Looks like it's in the black. And yeah, again, just quoting that, you know, Japanese yen. 4,900 for the black GameCube, and then we have this Game Boy Micro. What's that? The link cable, 11,400 yen. 19,500 for the Nintendo 3DS, and just a whole bunch of like Nintendo handhelds. You know, those are definitely gold. And I felt like the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy in general was slightly less expensive at the game shops out in Portland, Oregon than out here in Japan. I don't know. 14,500 yen for another Orange Spice Game Boy player. And then look at this beauty, Monster Hunter Wilds. I prefer the Final Fantasy black faceplate, or just the standard one. 36,000 yen here. A boxed LCD monitor for the PS1. What else do we have here? What the heck is this thing? For the Xbox 360, some kind of USB-C. That must be like a power battery bank thing for the controller. Then we got the Fusion by PowerA, 2,800. Get Bass, the controller, for 8,000. 26,300 for the 90,000 PS2. In fact, I'm going to be getting rid of one of my 90,000 PS2 Slims. Probably the Cinnabar Red, because that one is just loose console, and the black one I have it complete in the box. Now this is just like the unwanted, the junk games. Look at this. Tempting, huh? And 300 yen for what is this? Super Kaba? Kaba 2. Some kind of like jockey type of game. And the outlet game software section is pretty much what this is. Now, you know, out in Yokohama Station, super busy, you know, with tourists as well as with the locals, you know, just kind of everybody mishmashing. 800 here for Mario Kart. Super Mario Kart, come on. Still in that Super Nintendo mode, but there's a few deals in here. You know, it's not going to be like the greatest selection of games, but Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. That is definitely a very cool Mario Kart game. What do we have here? 300 for Super Mario Bros. Wii. You can find that for 50 yen, man. Hit up the countryside. It's worth it. 50 yen on that. But 300 yen, that's not bad. What do we have here? Tales of Vesperia, 300 yen. I always thought this was 360 exclusive, and then one day I saw it for the PS3. Granted, I'm not really big onto JRPGs, so I'm not really familiar with that. Of course, that was years ago, but what do we have here? Halo Wars, 300 yen. Now, I'm not sure if this has full English language options, but it's possible. Very possible. What else do we have here? Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, 1,200. That one probably does have full English language. And we got the King of Fighters 12 for 900 yen. Now, 13 is definitely the way to go. Do I have 13 and 12? Yes. But, you know, if you're not a hardcore KOF fan, just stick with 13. Beautiful looking game, by the way. And then check this one out. Soul Calibur 4, 300 yen. That's a pretty good deal. And you're going to get Yoda. And in fact, I had that game in my basket. I did have a few pickups here, which this video, or this store, is going to come in 2 flavors. We have Baiten Kaitos, 300 yen. They had 2 copies with the manual. But this store visit is going to be in 2 videos. Otherwise, this video would be like an hour long. And we all got stuff to do. Let's just take it in doses, right? Super Mario Maker 3DS there. But, you know, if you're digging through here, it's not bad. And I was here during the week, I think. And, you know, there wasn't very many people at this shop. You know, there was a few people, but for the most part, in the gaming section proper, not very many. Anyhow, what do we have here? We got some loose Famicom, Super Famicom carts with some Sailor Moon S action there for 900. I think that might be the puzzle game. I don't really mess with that kind of stuff, although I do like puzzle games. And I do have a few Sailor Moon. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, what do we have here? This is the Hudson Famicom controller for 1,500 yen. That's not too bad. And then this little mini Switch controller for 1,900. I had one that was very similar in size to that, but I recently got rid of it. I got rid of it, y'all. I need to get rid of some controllers. I have too many. And then here we have guidebooks and then hardware. So let's dig in deep here. We got a Saturn Model 2 for 3,400 yen, and that could be just console only, but it still has a lot of the original color, a slight tinge of fading. But 3,000 for the Xbox controller, 1,700. I wonder what the heck's the difference there. Maybe the other one was just slightly cleaner on the thumbsticks. I don't know. And then what do we have here? A DualShock PlayStation. This is what the 70,000 or the 7,000. Getting my numbers mixed up. But yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff, you know. I was kind of tempted to dig in deeper through here because I do want the base for the vertical, you know, the vertical stand base for the slim PS2. I think, you know, I'm so into having any console that I can have vertical. Definitely, that's the way I'm going to be doing it moving forward. Except for the Series X, just because it fits in my desk rather neatly in horizontal mode. And then we got the handy grip there for the Switch. Or is that for the Switch Lite? I kind of want one of those, but you know, I had a handy grip for the PlayStation Vita, but I ended up getting rid of that just because sometimes they got a little bit annoying. 14,500 yen for that GameCube in the box. 11,500 for this Wii U. Definitely don't do that. You could find working Wii U's in the junk sections of Hard Ops for like 2,000 yen. Throw a few more yens at it and you can get like the whole cables. 2,800 for a boxed Dreamcast keyboard. 2,100 for the Virtual Cop gun, and 11,300 yen for a Virtua stick. And this, the Party Room 21, I don't know what the heck that is. We got Xbox 360 here. What is this? The Elite. And then we got our guidebooks. Now, we're just going to gloss over these. We're not going to go too hardcore. But we got this. What is this for the Dragon Ball Z? I don't know if this is for a game or for the Super Famicom, maybe, perhaps. This one was tempting, though. Super Donkey Kong, 1,400 yen. And I have seen this one before. In fact, it was in a video out in, I found it in the Surugaya out in Konosu in Saitama. And then these like little perfect guides. What is this? It's covering N64, Dreamcast, and PlayStation. The only thing wrong with that is that PlayStation or Dreamcast should be the headliner there. Anyhow, Super Mario World. I have this 1,900 yen, but mine has Mario on the cover, so this kind of complements that guide. And I was kind of thinking about it. I do have this one, 700 yen. Don't have this one. Look at that. Some Play-Doh. SimCity. Come on, get out of here with that bit. I don't know. SimCity. I'm not really into sim games. They're intimidating. But I don't know. Maybe they could be good. I don't know. Let's just keep making the rounds here. And this was pretty much the first store that I hit up. No, that's a lie. That's like the second store that I hit up after being back from my trip out to the States. But we got some Moonwalker action there. 17,800, 14,800 for Sexy Parodius. And then we have Splatterhouse Part 3. For, what was that? 44. And then in the back, that looks like Fighter's History Dynamite. We got Pulseman for 71,200 yen. 13,300 here for Ninja Spirit. The F-Zero X soundtrack for 32,000. Zero Gunner 2 for the Dreamcast, 13,300. And then what's that? Donpachi, 13,600. And then Cannon Spike, 15,000 with Splatterhouse for the old PC Engine for 12,600 yen. And then we have some Neo Geo titles here. And yeah, the Neo Geo, that Cross Swords there coming in at 34,000. I definitely would like a copy of that, but you know, I have it on the Switch, and I beat it on the Switch. I don't know, if I could find it one day for like a third of that price, then I think I'll bite the bullet. But 34,000 there, Cross Swords. That's the one that. Oh, and I think there was a Polestar there for like 100,000 yen. 11,000 there for the Majora's Mask pack. Some more Sailor Moon action there. Then Shadowrun, 33,700 yen. I do have a North American copy of that with me here in Japan, and I've had that for years. 13,000 there for Mega Man X. 16,700 yen for Akumajo. Dracula for the old Super Fami. Where we have Ninja Combat there for 37. Rad Guy for 49,000. And what's this? Biohazard 15th Anniversary, 18,000. And then Guilty Gear there for the Wonder Swan, 5,300 yen. With the manual. Always nice to see the manual. Goof Troop. That's my jam there. 3,900 yen. What else? Yeah, I've been going kind of hard there with the old Super Famicom, playing Super Famicom games, as well as, you know, with the collection. We got R-Type 3 loose cart, 6,700 yen. And then we got some GBA titles with Metroid Zero Mission, 12,100 yen. And then what's that? Breath of Fire for 11,200. What else do we have? Atelier Marie and Marie something in Annis, 22,600 yen. 11,700 for the Minish Cap. And 41,000 for that. What the heck is that? I don't know. 23,200 for Final Fantasy on the Famicom. 22,400 for Metroid Fusion. And then we have Eternal Champions for 10,400 and Gunstar Heroes for 11,200. Now, guys, we're in the showcase. So, you know, before you know, it's not that everything is going to be crazy priced like this. This is just like the cream of the crop. Now, is it worth it? You know, I don't know. It's up to you. Metal Gear Ghost Babel, 22,800 yen. That one you could find loose at a book off for a fraction of that, like 4,000 yen. What else do we have? The Super Shinobi, 5,800 yen. Oh, and then Swordmaster there for 18,300. I do want a copy of that, but that's a pricey one. Published by Athena. I don't know who developed it, though. It could be in-house. I don't know. Metroid Prime Pinball for 10,700 yen. Those Max Steel or Mad Max, whatever the heck that is, they always have funny covers. Oh wait, I think somebody mentioned in the comments that I think the girl is the motorcycle or something. That's pretty wacky. Wario World there for the Virtual Boy, and then Circle of the Moon, 12,200 yen, and then a couple more Mario artists, but those lower price, so that maybe they don't include the mouse. We got Barry Arm for 15,900 there for the old Mega CD, and then Bulk Slash, 16,800 yen next to Princess Crown for 10,600 yen. That game, Princess Crown, that deserves an official re-release with English language options, man. I have a copy of that, but anyhow, we got Sin and Punishment, 11,600 yen. Mega Man World there for 43,200 yen. What else do we have here? Old Soldier Blade for 34,500 with Flying Power Disc for 10,000. Dracula X Chronicles, whatever, 11,400. And Magical Chase for 135,000. What's going on, y'all? Ill Bleed for 10,000. And then PC Denjin, 29,900 yen. And then Metal Stoker for 17,300 yen. And then Contra Hardcore, 62,900 and some change. Rocket Knight Adventures 2 for 48,100 yen. And then 198,000 there. I think that's what the heck's it called? I'm drawing a blank, but it's the shooter with the two chicks. It looks pretty cool, not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind a copy of that, but that price is definitely out of reach for me. We got 1943 Kai for the PC Engine, coming in at 15,200 yen. What else do we have here? Sengoku Blade 2, 10,500. That Doraemon game for 9,900. And then they had a Geppy X there for 29,000. And then Gimmick, 228,000. My goodness, y'all. Anyhow, we got some more hardware here. Let's forget about that and keep it moving here. The PC Engine Mini, 24,000. Great little machine next to the LCD portable monitor, and then the Genesis Mini, 10,300 yen. You know what? I've decided I'm getting rid of all the mini consoles. I already got rid of one. I don't need that in my life. But 17,000 yen for the broadband adapter next to this command controller, and then 8,400 yen for the SwanCrystal. And it has a few notes there, and there's another one coming in at 10,000, and that's just the Wonder Swan color. Could be a Final Fantasy edition. We got a 3DO pad there for 5,900 and 43,000 for a SwanCrystal in the box. Now this one, it could just be having an issue where it's not powering on, but just clean the contacts where you put the cartridge in, and you will need a game for it to power on. If you don't have a game, it's not going to power on. And then 10,900 yen for this Duo RX 6-button controller. And then the Avenue Pad 6 for 3,100 with one in the back coming in at 5,900. I got rid of those because that Duo RX 6-button controller, which I picked up a few months ago, it's actually not bad. I thought it was going to be really uncomfy, but especially with its funky D-pad, but I was pleasantly surprised. And then we got a PCFX in the box for 28,100 yen next to the Duo, the glorious Duo, for 53,000, and that's complete in the box. We got the PS3 memory card adapter for 5,700 yen, an Xbox 360 for 23,900 yen, and then the Astro City 5 Mini, 16,700 yen. Actually, with the minis, I'm going to keep my Neo Geo Mini as well as my Astro City Mini. And here's the 5, 27,100 yen. I kind of want that one, but I hear it has like input lag on some of the games. Some of those precious shooting games. 109,000 for the Neo Geo, and then 19,800 for that Mini, so that one's a bit less. But yeah, 109,000 for the Neo Geo, not even with the box. You could still find those for less though. You're gonna have to be digging hard, digging deep. But you know, it could be done. 11,000 for that PS3 Fat. Not exactly sure which specific model. It could be the 60 gig. But let's check out some old Sega games here. We got Golden Axe, 4,500 yen. What do y'all think of that price? Is it overpriced? Or 3,000? That's not bad. Come on, 3,000. Does it include the manual? I don't know. And then we got Sonic Spinball for 7,700 yen. I did pick that one up at a hard off out in Kuki for 2,000. Then we got Zero Wing. Beautiful cover on that one. And we got Strider for 3,200 yen. We got some Dick Tracy there, and then Thunder Force 3 coming in at 4,000 yen. But there's definitely issues. There's definitely some issues going on there. And then Dick Tracy coming in at 8,300 yen. I'm kind of curious about this game. I've never seen the movie either. I need to get on that. And then Hyperdunk. Look at that cool cover. Hyperdunk, the playoff edition. Another copy of Dick Tracy, and then this is what NHK historical simulator, whatever. Tatsujin, 4,300 yen. That's definitely lower than what I'm used to seeing. And yeah, I had to give it the shake test. And then Dai Makaimura, 4,400 yen. I think those could have been just like box and manual only. And then 4,000 yen here for like the Peacock King. I think it's based like off of an anime. And what else do we have here? We got some Ballast, 8,000 yen, Ballast 3 to be exact. And yeah, good old Valis. Recently started getting into that. And then look at this, Rocket Knight Adventures for 7,000. It's missing the manual, but man, this game, it can range between 20 to 30,000 yen. And then we have Rolling Thunder there too for 8,100 yen. But that's not bad on that Rocket Knight Adventures. Anyhow, let's keep it moving. Forgotten Worlds, 5,400 yen. And yeah, I do like that cover of Forgotten Worlds. Yeah, I started thinking about this, y'all. Look at that. It looks clean. Look at that. The spine, it's all there. The manual, it can be found. What do we have? Doom for the 32X. Beautiful cover. Iconic cover for 7,800 yen. And that's kind of cool. Like the layout there that they have. Virtual Racing Deluxe. 7,300 yen. Look at those polygonal babes. Oh, man. And then Star Wars, the arcade game. 9,800 yen. I do want to try this. I would prefer to try it in the arcade. The Sega Model 1 board, something about it. Yeah, party foul. But something about it, and that was Afterburner, 9,600 yen. But something about the Model 1 graphics that's really appealing. No textures to them, but, that's part of its charm. And then what do we have here? We got Gunpei. 4,000 yen, and they also had Gunpei EX for 8,800 yen, which that's competitive, I suppose. Samurai Spirits for the Neo Geo for 5,500 yen. We got Part 2, 5,400, and then we have Garo Part 2, 6,000 there for special. But let's just keep it moving here. And when I came here, I was in a dangerous spot. Simply because, well, here's Space Harrier for 8,200 yen. I'm going to do the noble thing and put it where it belongs. But, when I came here, even though, I wasn't, I had my sushi, I came out here, whatever. I really wasn't sure what I was looking for. And if you're just doing that, you can get into some trouble. With the collection trouble, just kind of spending that money, carelessly. But anyhow, 3,000 yen for Wario 4 there. And then we got Super Mario Advance. I think that's Part 2 or something like that. And then Mother 3. And I'm just kind of trying to move till we get the price there. 5,700 yen. And then they had the collection there for 7,900 yen. But yeah, you want to be careful, always have your list, always have a purpose, intent, because if you're just out here just kind of going buck wild, you're just going to be adding a bunch of stuff that's not really important to the collection. 5,500 yen for F-Zero X. And I was thinking about getting rid of the N64, but it was that game, F-Zero, 4,100 yen for Dracula 64. But F-Zero X convinced me to keep it, as well as Star Fox 64. That's my favorite N64 game, and one of the greatest rail shooters, in my opinion, of all time. Especially the 3D version. That thing is awesome. But yeah, F-Zero X, I had a great time playing it. And what do we have here? We got a Neo Geo Pocket Color game. Round 2 of King of Fighters. And then some Super Famicom. Love me some Super Famicom. Here we have Akumajo. 8,900 yen. Now, if you could still find a loose cart of this game for about 2,000 yen, your best bet, check out some book offs. And I'm sure you could still find the game complete for, anywhere between 5 to 7,000. It might take a while. But we have ActRaiser here for 4,900 yen. And I've played very little of that series, but I would like to give it a better shot. 3,000 yen for Chrono Trigger. And then we got the OG F-Zero for 2,700 yen, which I have a copy of that as well. And look at that cover. Some, what is that? Sexy Parodius. And then Goemon action there. 3,500 yen. I was actually playing The Legend of the Mystical Ninja earlier today. I brought my US copy. Great game. We have Donkey Kong there for 1,500 yen. Again, if you don't have a lot of time, it's still worth coming here because, a lot of this stuff, 2,700 yen for Super Mario RPG, that's not too bad. And they had another one for 700 yen. Now, this could be missing, it could be just the box, it could be missing I think it's that little dent. I think it did have the game in there. But, it's still worth coming out here. Especially if you're on vacation, you got the missus or your partner, whatever. You don't have a lot of time, you just come in, pop in real quick, 1,600 yen. Pick up a couple games, call it good. Get some sushi, maybe do that beforehand. 3,200 for Donkey Kong 2. Donkey Kong Country 2. 1,600 for Super Street Fighter 2. So there, I want to say this is competitive. Come on. Well, Daisymon there for 4,800 yen. Terranigma, 8,600 yen. I hear great things about this. What is this? An action RPG. Super Mario World or Super Mario Bros. 4, 4,400 yen. And then look at this cover, 5,500 yen. That looks pretty cool. By Wolf Team. Yeah, not too bad. And then we have Super Adventure Island, 4,600 next to Darius Twin for 2,900. Now, I did have a pickup here, and I'll point it out once we get to it. We have Kirby 3, 4,500 yen. Now, that one should include a sticker. And then Prince of Persia with its beautiful cover, 7,600 yen. And then we have Mickey's Quest there for 4,300 yen. And then we got this UFO. This is like a beat 'em up, 8,300 yen. Like some UFO ramen thing. Another copy for 2,900 of Mickey's Quest 2. Then X2 coming in at 3,700 yen. Look at that. I can't remember though. It could have been just the box, but 9,000 yen for Mega Man X. And then Magic Sword for 7,900. Anyhow, guys, expect more. We're going to continue with PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn and a few other platforms. So stay tuned. Ciao.
Southside.